your wife, it was her decision not to go back with you when she was pregnant. She had that option, but she said no. Is that correct?
Yes, I wanted to stay with her. She cut it off.
Did you ever tell him at any point you did not want any child support or money from him?
No, sir.
How many hours a week do you get?
40 hours a week.
Ms. Gomez, don't you live with your mother? Is that correct?
Right now, I live with my father.
You live with your father? Do you have to pay any rent there?
No, sir, not rent. I believe just water.
Okay, you have another child too, besides Mr. Hogg?
Yes, sir.
And are you receiving support for that child?
Yes, sir.
And how much do you receive for him?
Around 700.
700 a month?
Around 700. Yes, sir.
So you know how much money it takes to raise kids. So you realize that he's trying to raise 5 kids.
Yes, I understand that.
You never asked Mr. Hogg for any money during those 5 years, did you?
No, sir.
And you made it fine, right?
We're just requesting a hearing on whether there should be any retroactive support. The parties are in agreement that the temporary order continue and ask the court to make that the final order.
Ms. Gomez, I don't let non-lawyers make opening statements. However, at the end of the hearing, since you already represent yourself, if you want to make a closing statement, you will be allowed, you can do so, ma'am. But at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and get this on the record and we'll start your hearing. All right, here we go. Anyway, court's now on the record, and this is Bell County cause number 23 DFAM 338,193. This is in the 478th Judicial District Court of Bell County, Texas, as in the interest of Gomez minor child. Non-custodial party is Mr. Troy W. Hall. Custodial party is Angelica M. Gomez. And this matter is before the court originally on petition establish parent-child relationship. We've been operating under a temporary order in this matter. The court will note for the record that Mr. Hogg and his legal representative, Mr. Ralston, are present. Ms. Gomez is present pro se. The state is being represented by Mr. Max Steinke. And my understanding is they're in agreement as far as the temporary order becoming the final order, but we're looking at the issue of retroactive child support. So at this time, I'll go ahead and get that officially on the record as far as the opening statements from the attorneys, and then I'll get everybody sworn in, and then we'll get going and get started. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe the parties are in agreement and asking the court to make the temporary order final order of the court. The temporary order reserved the issues of retroactive support, non-disclosure, and court costs. The non-disclosure is being waived by Ms. Gomez. She's informing that she does not have concerns that for harm or abuse if her address information is included in the paperwork. We're just asking the court to make a decision on court costs and if there should be any retroactive support.
All right then, Mr. Ralston.
Yes, good afternoon, Judge. May it please the court. Your Honor, Mr. Hall, my client, is the only provider for, he is providing for 4 children now that he is living with in his house, and his wife, his present wife, and then he's agreed to pay support for the child that was in controversy in this case, which will be 5 children, and he's the only provider, and it would be an extreme hardship. He wouldn't be able to pay it any retro support, which is, according to the case laws, if it results in a hardship, that's something the court can consider in not allowing it.
The family code does not have a hardship reduction.
His wife had sent him a letter that I read to the appraiser, but basically she hasn't had any involvement with him for 5 years, or with his son either until recently. So this was her decision, and the court cost in this case, we're also requesting that there not be any cost, and also not any retro support, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
Because based on hardship.
All right, I'll get some testimony on those circumstances, sir. And like I said, ma'am, I'll let you make a closing statement at the time. Obviously, you're asking for it. You're entitled to do that, and we'll get some testimony, and we'll figure this one out. So at this time, Mr. Hogg and Ms. Gomez, both please raise your right hand, and Ms. Gomez, please unmute yourself. Do both of you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony given to court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Gomez, I see you're in a vehicle. You're not driving, are you, ma'am?
No, sir, I'm parked.
Good. All right. Yeah. Google Zoom hearings and people driving. You will be horrified what you find. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I'll make that mandatory. Nobody's going to crash for having a hearing on my docket. Anyway, I'll go ahead and let the state call your first witness at this time, Mr. Steinke. You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Troy Hogg. Mr. Hogg, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
When was the first time you became aware that Ms. Gomez was pregnant?
It was about 6 years ago when we were dating.
And did you at that time think that you might be the father of the child?
Yes.
Did she ever tell you that she did not want any money from you?
It basically, the way it went was when she told me she was pregnant, when I wanted to be with her, it was on her circumstances to see the child and how I could see the child. Like, I wanted to be part of the child. I wanted to take him home, be with my family, but it was under her circumstances only at that time.
Right.
But
Did she ever tell you that she did not want any money from you?
I've never heard her say, yeah, no money.
And you have 4 other children, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they're all your biological children.
Yes, sir.
How many of them, are they all younger than Sebastian?
My oldest daughter, the one I pay child support on now, I get her every week and weekend. I pay $300 for her, and she is 9 years old. And then Sebastian would be the second oldest.
Okay.
Axel's 4 years old. My youngest boy is 2, and my daughter just turned a month old.
And where are you working now?
At Corin, Maine, and Waco, Texas.
And how long have you worked there?
I've been there going on 3 years now, I believe.
Is your wage right now about the same as it was when you started, or has it changed?
No, sir, it hasn't changed at all. I think my raise might have been like 2 cents or something like that.
Okay.
Yes, it hasn't changed.
We'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Sorry, muted. Mr. Ralston, your witness, sir. Thank you.
What's that, Judge?
It's your witness. Mr. Hawks, your witness.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, Troy, your wife, it was her decision not to go back with you when she was pregnant. She had that option, but she said no. Is that correct?
Yes, I wanted to stay with her, and she cut it off.
She cut off the relationship, and you didn't see her for 5 years. And you never even knew the date that the child was born, did you?
No, like I said, I knew she was pregnant. I didn't know. I don't know if she reached out or not. I did never get anything. I don't know. Like I said, just recently found out his birthday was last month, I believe.
Okay, and also your name, she didn't even name you on the birth certificate as the father, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is there hadn't been any type of relationship with her prior. And she hasn't asked you for any money during this time, has she?
No.
And has she always worked as far as you know?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, and how much money does she make, you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, but she was employed during all the time that you dated her, correct?
Yes, sir.
And as far as you know, she's still employed now.
As far as I know, I would imagine she is. Yes, sir.
And and you're asking the court not to award any retro support because of hardship, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your hardship is?
Just me basically being the sole provider as of right now. I'm the only one working at the time with 4 other children at home, and it would probably literally make me fall on my face. So I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I'm barely making ends meet now.
And you're willing to pay support in the order.
Oh, yes.
You're gonna pay on your support. It's
Yes.
just trying to come up with a lump sum or anything like that is beyond your ability at this time, right?
Yes, I can't. Like I said, I can hardly afford anything I'm doing now.
Anything else you want to tell the court?
I don't think so.
All right, pass the witness, Sean.
All right, Ms. Gomez, technically you're your own rep. Do you have any questions of the witness at this time? If you do, you need to run them by me to make sure they're proper questions, ma'am, at this. And I've got a couple of questions I want to ask him. But do you have any questions you want to ask him at this time, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, then, Mr. Hogg, sir, where have you been living since the child was born? What cities have you lived in since then, sir?
Lott, Texas. Lived there my whole life in Falls County.
Okay. And you say you currently work for a company in McLennan County, is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. Corn, Maine. It used to be HD Supply, but it's called Corn, Maine now.
And what do you do for them, sir?
I am the warehouse manager over there. I left the prison. I used to work for the state of Texas at TDCJ for 7 years, and I left there, and I'm at Corn, Maine. And there I'm a warehouse manager.
How long did you when did you leave working for TDJC?
What, 6 years ago? About
Okay,
6
so
years ago.
before the child was born. Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
And sir, what is your current pay rate at your current job, sir? Are you salaried or are you hourly?
No, sir. I'm hourly.
Okay. And what's your hourly rate, sir?
What was it? 2075. It's 1,300 every 2 weeks.
And do you get much overtime at this job or any overtime?
Very seldom. 7:30 to, that's normally an 80-hour work week. Every once in a while, if a truck comes in late, I may have to stay an hour or two. So every once in a while, I may hit 84 hours, maybe 83 at the most. So hardly no overtime. Yeah, they won't really allow us to get a whole lot of overtime.
Yeah, I understand. I believe I've heard that testimony before.
Yeah.
All right.
Believe me, I'd like to have all that overtime I could have.
Okay, sir. You have so you said you told your testimony was that you had not had any relationship with the child before the filing of the case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Have you known where the mother have you known where the mother has been for the last 4 years? You know where she lived, where she worked, that sort of thing at all?
No, not since 4 years. No.
All right. At the time, y'all stopped seeing each other, stopped contacting each other. You know, where did she live? What city did she live in?
Killeen, I believe. Killeen. Okay. It was on, I think, in between Harker Heights and Killeen, right on kind of the outside, I believe.
Okay, my law office used to be right there in Harker Heights, so yeah, I got an idea what you're talking about. So yeah.
Yes, sir. It was like a yeah, it was somewhere right in between there.
All right, good enough then. All right, Mr. Steinke, anything on redirect for Mr. Hogg at this time? You muted also, sir. I love the way this thing turns you on and off sometimes. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. No, I have no further questions for the witness.
All right, thank you. All right, then, Mr. Ralston, anything on quick redirect? I'm sorry. I started to say quick. You can take as much time as you want. Anything on cross at this time for Mr. Hogg?
I would like to. I have a few questions for Ms. Gomez, if I might.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I
know no, not for Mr. Hall. No, I'll pass that witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Yeah, okay. Mr. Steinke, call your next witness, please.
Thank you. The state calls Angelica Gomez. Ms. Gomez, has Mr. Hogg ever paid you any money for child support outside of the money he's been paying recently through the system?
No, sir.
Did you ever tell him at any point you did not want any child support or money from him?
No, sir.
Where have you been living, in what city, for the past 4 years?
So the past 4 years, I was recently in Harker Heights, but then I go back to Killeen. So Heights and Killeen.
Okay. And do you have a social media presence online?
No, sir.
Do you have an unlisted or restricted phone number?
No, sir.
Okay. So has anyone else in your life had difficulty finding you?
I wouldn't know because I don't have social media.
Okay. But you're not traveling around to many other cities and living in different cities, correct?
Oh, no, sir. Correct.
You're asking the court to consider if there should be some back child support. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Those are all the questions I have, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, real quick, do you still have the same phone number that you had when you and Mr. Hogg were together?
So no, that was a different phone number. And then I did recently change my new number, but then I provided him with that one.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Ralston, your witness.
Okay, Ms. Gomez, are you employed now?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
City of Killeen Municipal Court,
Okay, and what is your job title there?
compliance clerk,
Compliance? And what is your rate of pay, please?
16 an hour,
60,
16 an hour.
16 an hour?
Yes,
And
sir.
how many hours? How many hours a week do you get?
I work about 80 hours, 40 hours a week.
Okay, so your pay scale and your hours is about the same as Mr. Hogg, is it not?
Your Honor, I object to the relevance of this. That's not applicable to whether or not he should be ordered to pay retroactive support.
I'll let Mr. Ralston get down to some net income information if that's what he wants. Again, I can look at overall resources, Mr. Ralston, on something like this, but just individual amounts like that, I'll sustain that. But if you got specific questions, what her total resources are, I'll let you go there, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gomez, don't you live with your mother? Is that correct?
Right now I live with my father.
You live with your father?
My father.
Okay, do you have to pay any rent there?
I just pay, no, sir, not rent, just, I believe just water.
Okay, and so you get help from your family, your dad and your mother, I assume, living expenses and a place to live?
From my dad, yes.
Okay. And is that relationship you expect to continue?
Well, I'll be moving back, by myself with my 2 children on Saturday, so it's gonna change.
Okay, you have another child too, besides Mr. Hogg?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you receiving support for that child?
Yes, sir.
And how much do you receive for him? Or her, I should say.
Around 700.
700 a month?
Around 700, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and you understand that Mr. Hogg's the about calculation on him is about $300 a month. You understand that? Correct.
Yes, sir.
And you've agreed to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you know how much money it takes to raise kids. So you realize that he's trying to raise 5 kids.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, then, any other witnesses at this time, Mr. Stein?
No, the state rests, Judge.
All right, any other witnesses you wish to call at this time, Mr. Ralston?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, then, Ms. Gomez, do you have a witness you wish to call, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do, Ms. Gomez. I'm gonna go ahead and let you make a closing statement if you wish to. You don't have to. If you want to tell the court why you think I should do what you want me to do, you have that opportunity now. And then I'll go to Mr. Ralston, and then I'll go to the state for a final. Thank you. Do you have a closing statement at this time, Ms. Gomez?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I apologize. So I did inform Mr. Hogg when I did give birth. I did send a message about our son, how he was sent to NICU, and now he would receive surgery in about the next 2 to 3 days. But I'm not asking for any back pay to be ugly. It's just that I have been the one raising Sebastian, our son, by myself, and that's all I ask. I understand he does have 5 other children. I know times are getting hard. That's all I ask.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ralston.
Okay, you understand he's got 5 children, including your son. Don't make it any worse than it is.
Yeah. It's not 6; it's total 5. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, and you understand, and that.
Like I said, I never knew unless it's sick, never come through. I don't think.
Mr.
Anything or receiving it.
Mr. Hogg says he doesn't remember receiving anything about the birth of his son.
Okay, well,
That doesn't mean it
okay.
didn't go through. I mean, I don't know.
Do you recall actually doing that, or is that
Yes, sir. I have a screenshot of the message, sir.
okay? But there was a period of time for 5 years in there where Mr. Hogg and you did not have much contact, if any, correct?
Correct.
And that was at your wish, right?
I'm sorry, sir. How would you mean? How can you? I'm sorry. You said by my wish. What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, that was your decision to make it that way.
Well, um, so Mr. Hogg is knew where I lived. He knew my address and he knew my phone number.
Okay, but you weren't. The letter you sent to him was that any contact with him had been broken off previously, correct?
Yes, sir. Since we weren't in contact for all those years, yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Pass the witness, John.
All right, I got one last question of you, ma'am. I said this is a closing statement. Ma'am, did you ever tell Mr. Hogg that you did not want him to pay child support?
No, sir, I did not.
All right, and did you ever tell him that there's a possibility that there could be another father of this child?
No, sir, I did not.
All right, I just want to make sure there's a couple of extenuating circumstances. All right, then now I'll go ahead. Anything on readdress as far as witness questions of Ms.
Your
Gomez
Honor.
or Mrs. Steinke?
Your Honor, excuse me, Your Honor.
Okay.
I've got
Well,
one quick question I'd like to ask Ms. Gomez, if I may.
all right, you may, and then I'll go back to Mr. Steinke. Thank you.
I apologize for not recall, but I'm just, Ms. Gomez, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. You never asked Mr. Hogg for any money during those 5 years, did you?
No, sir.
And you made it fine, right?
I wouldn't say I made it fine. I would say I did it. It was hard, but I did it.
Yeah. Okay, pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Steinke, any other questions of Ms. Gomez as far as her case is concerned?
No other questions, Your Honor. Just like to make a brief closing.
All right, then. All right, then Ms. Gomez has made her closing, so I'll let her give her testimony in the narrative form. So at this time, I'll allow Mr. Ralston to make a closing, and then Mr. Steinke, and then the court will be. And I'm looking at current child support is being set at $309 a month. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed at this time with a closing statement, Mr. Ralston.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. We think this is a perfect case of hardship, Your Honor, based on Mr. Hogg being the sole provider and raising 5 kids. And the youngest one is only 2 months old, was born premature, and is now in his house, but he has to pick that up too. It's just no way that he's going to be able to chin this going back on that. He's agreeable to the paying child support forward, and he can handle that, but he just can't handle anything more than that. And it's not because of any animosity or anything towards Ms. Gomez or his son. It's just he can't do it. It's just the money's not there. So based on that, Your Honor, we ask in the court to please consider this a hardship case and not award any back support.
All right, Mr. Steinke.
Your Honor, under the temporary order, there's a small balance of $47.52. We'll be asking the court just to, if there is any retroactive support, that small balance is included into it. And as the court's aware that retroactive support's not a punishment, it's not meant to say someone didn't do the right thing, but Mr. Hogg's asserting that this would be a hardship. And if you look at what he's testified to now regarding his wages at $20.75 an hour, child support really be retroactive support would have really been about $434 for all those months. That's if he made that comparable wage as he testified to, given a few pennies off of that time. And basically the facts show that the mother asked or told him she was pregnant. He believed he was the father. And because she didn't beg him and ask him and track him down and continuously harass him and ask him for money, he shouldn't have to support his child. And it's not her responsibility. And it's not, I understand the equity of looking at her income situation, but it's not as if she's a millionaire and she's trying to get all of this money from him. Her child is entitled to some retroactive child support. I'm asking the court to make a fair amount of child support retroactive, and the payment can be very small, and the payment can be even less than the interest as long as Mr. Hogg is aware of that, and that could address any of the short-term problems that he's had with hardship. But actually, on the issue of hardship, I haven't heard anything about not being able to pay a bill, not being able to pay a doctor, not being able to make a car payment. I've just heard that someone has a lot of children. And there are many people that have multiple children, and that's not a hardship. That's just a challenge, and people have to adjust their lifestyle. I don't think this child should be eliminated from having any back child support because the mother didn't go around begging and tracking him down. It's his responsibility to know I likely had a child and I should have followed up with that instead of blaming the mother for making too much money and having family that helps her. The reason why is because he wasn't helping her.
All right, thank you very much. All right, folks. Again, yeah, I'm gonna try to be a little equitable here, but and I didn't say it in my morning speech, but I used to say it all the time. You know, Texas takes for granted. If you, the part of the law is if you have sexual relationships in the state of Texas, you should have realized a child could result from that. And I can even order retroactive for 4 years on someone who doesn't even know the child was born. But the fact that they are the parent, they did have the relationship. That's that. But at this time, like I said, I'm looking at these circumstances, and I am looking at the yes, sir, you got too many kids. Sounds. I think he said you're paying child support for one, but the rest of them live with you. But you know, they're all blessings. So hey, that's the way it works. But anyway, I've got to be fair to this child also. So unlike the biblical reference, I can split the baby in half. So what I'm going to look at doing at this time is I'll find that there would be some hardship here, but I am going to go ahead and looking at ordering retroactive child support of a total of $8,000. That's a little bit more than it's a compromise in between since the last child was born and before the child was born. So I'm looking at about 2 years of back unpaid retroactive child support. I'll add the $47 to that. Order repayment of that extra amount at $50 a month. So you know, if he also figure out a way to make an extra 50, or this won't kill him, and that way it won't be going up in interest rates. And over the life, this child's only 5 years old, so it got another 13 years. So even at that low amount, some part of this will be paid down, and then at the very end, there'll only be a few dollars left that he'll have to pay off past the age of 18. Probably I hadn't sat down and did ran through a financial calculator to figure out how long it's going to take him to pay this off. I could, but I didn't. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and set that up as that is being fair to both sides, because again, sir, this is your child. He was your responsibility. And sometimes, you know, I don't tell people how to run their life. Believe me, I'm 60 plus years old, and I've never been married because no one would put up with me. So there, I know how relationships work. So at this time, that's what I'll set up. But I'm gonna keep the current child support amount at the 309. Order an extra 50 a month against the retro, and all that starts the first day of I'll start at the first day of January, since the first day of December is tomorrow. So I'll start the retroactive repayment the first day of January, and obviously the temporary order is still good on the current child support for December tomorrow. So I'll start with you, ma'am, because you may have questions, and then I'll let the lawyers tell me if there's anything else they need. So Ms. Gomez, any questions, anything else you're asking the court to do here today?
No, sir, I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, then, Mr. Ralston.
Thank you for your time, Judge.
Not a problem. Mr. Steinke.
Your Honor, is there any ruling specific on court costs?
Oh, okay. I'll waive court costs on them. I'll save them well, I'm not gonna call it a pittance. I haven't the slightest idea what court cost is these days anymore. I haven't paid court costs in 22 years, so I'm not sure what it is. Okay. So
And Your Honor,
Thank you, Judge.
I'll prepare the order and I will circulate it to everyone via DocuSign like they did with the temp order.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Yeah, I had someone tell me, hey, if you're interested after you retire, coming to do some legal work again. I'm going, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not going back in that meat grinder. So anyway, everybody have a safe and happy Christmas. Take care of those kids, and I wish them all a Merry Christmas, and hopefully Santa will take care of everything that Santa's supposed to do. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Child support was set at $571.